Hello, YouTube. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's having a good weekend. I know I am. Got to see one of my best friends from college get married, which was amazing because not only did I get to see him and he married another good friend of mine, which always works out well, but I got to hang out with a bunch of my buddies from college who were all like groomsmen and like involved in the wedding, and it was good because I've only been graduated from college for 3 years now. Man, time flies. For 3 years, but you spend enough time in college, which I went to a community college for 2 years, and then I transferred to a university to finish my degree, and I was only at that university for 3 years. It took me 5 years to get my bachelor's, if you're counting, and anyway, that's not really the point. The point is that those 3 years, I don't know, like you develop a separate family, like a set of friends, a family that's unique to your experiences in college, and it's always so good to go back and spend time with them. It was a good weekend. So anyway, welcome to Sit Down Sunday. This Sunday, I'm going to talk about something sort of related to what we talked about last week, which last week, I apologize, was maybe a little bit on the boring side if you're not a health and fitness, nut, or you're not, like a bodybuilder or something like that. And if you missed it, we talked about steroids, and it wasn't really anything too controversial. I just kind of talked about what they are and how to define them, which, again, to some people was interesting, to some people it wasn't, and that's okay. This week is a little more universal. So this week for Sit Down Sunday, I want to talk to you about weight loss, which is a question pretty much everybody has. There's a saying in the fitness industry that everybody wants to be leaner. It doesn't really matter how lean you are, everybody has something about themselves that they could change, and for most of us, we'd like to be just a little bit leaner, maybe a lot leaner. And it's an important topic to me, not only because I lost a lot of weight, but also because there's a lot of BS, there's a lot of misinformation, and you can just, not to be cocky, but with a conversation like me or any one of the people that I went to school with, one conversation you can cut out 90% of the information or the misinformation that you hear about weight loss. Isn't that pretty over there? Oh my gosh, what a beautiful state. So anyway, if you're interested in losing weight, let's start from the ground up. If you're interested in losing weight, okay, if you take the time to Google how to lose weight, you will get 6.935 trillion results. And 98% of them are clickbait, misinformation, are borderline helpful, but usually not guided by science. And with weight loss, and this is if you don't take anything else away from this video, take this 1 point away. Weight loss is a scientific equation. It is not a mystery. We know how it works. It is a black and white binary system, okay? And what that means is there are a few things that you need to know to lose weight, and if you know those things, those 2 to 3, 4 things, everything else, everything you can, all the books, all the diets, all the coaches, all the secrets, all the magic weight loss tips, all the other stuff that you could possibly come across becomes completely secondary. Everything else becomes details once you know a few simple scientific truths, okay? And I know a couple of my friends that I went to school with are watching this, so I'm gonna try to do them proud, because I went to school with some brilliant people, and I was fortunate enough to be taught by some brilliant people. So these scientific truths, let's get to the meat of this conversation. So with weight loss, it is a calories in versus calories out equation. That is 60 to 70% of weight loss is a calories in versus calories out equation. If you are consuming too many calories, it does not matter if they are organic, if they are whole grain, if they are grass-fed, or if they are processed and straight out of McDonald's. If you are consuming more calories than you are burning, you will not lose weight. That is it. I don't care if every single bite comes from Whole Foods. I don't care if every single bite comes from McDonald's. Your body does not distinguish that as far as losing weight goes. As a whole, if you consume too many calories, you will either stay the same weight or you will gain weight. Quality of food is a detail. okay, compared to how much food you're eating overall. Let that sink in. Let that sink in, please. Okay? Okay, so the first truth, we've established that. Calories in versus calories out. Second truth, okay? And I see a lot about this, and this is actually kind of bad advice. A lot of people say, don't check the scale, okay? And while yes, it's important not to obsess over the scale, if the scale does not go down on average from week to week, let's say you weigh yourself twice a week and you average it out. So let's say you weigh yourself on Monday and Thursday, and then you just average it out, and that's your average weight for the week. If your average weight does not go down week to week, you are most likely not losing body fat. Unless you are weight training a lot and you are a complete rookie to weight training, in which case you'd be gaining muscle at a faster rate, and thus the scale might not reflect the amount of fat you're losing. That's what I mean. If the scale does not go down week to week to week, you are most likely not losing a significant amount of body fat, okay? So that's number two. So first is calories in versus calories out. Okay, quality of food, how much protein, carbs, fat, where you get your food, blah, 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 blah. All that crap is details. All details compared to overall calories in versus calories out. Calories in versus calories out is king, okay? Let that sink in. Point number two is if the scale is not going down, you are most likely not losing weight. Okay, there are a couple exceptions. But in general, for the general population, if the scale isn't moving, neither are you. Okay, so point number three, and this is the final point I'm going to make today because I don't want to overwhelm, okay? I want to keep this video short, and I want to keep it to the amount of information that's helpful, but not so much that it's overwhelming. Okay, so point number three is do not stress in the beginning over the details. So many people get caught up with the landscaping when they haven't built the house yet. Do you know what I mean? And by that I mean and this is something that was taught to me in school by a brilliant professor. His name is Dr. Mike Israetel. Dr. Mike, and his last name is Israetel. Dr. Mike Israetel. He is an absolutely brilliant person. And anyway, the point is, point number three, the details of your diet, how often you eat in a day, what quality of food you eat, whether or not it's organic, whether or not it's processed, whether or not it's GMO, non-GMO. And I'm not even gonna discuss the debatable health benefits of those things. And I emphasize debatable. Whether or not you consume artificial sweeteners, whether or not you eat before bed, whether or not you eat before you do cardio, all these things that people are obsessing over when they're trying to lose weight, and good for you for trying to be thoughtful, but remember, if the scale is not moving and or you are consuming too many calories, all those things I just listed are all details. They all fade into the background. They don't matter. Finding out where your line is with calories, as in how much food it takes you to consistently eat and lose weight, that comes first. That's priority number one. Once you've started to figure that out, then sure, you can start to figure out things like, well, where do I get my food? Is it this level of quality? Is it processed? Is it non-processed? And again, I'm not even discussing the health aspects of that. I'm not even sure that most of that stuff matters. I'm not convinced that it does. But we're not here to discuss that. We're talking purely in terms of weight loss, how many times a day you eat, whether or not you eat before bed, all that stuff. That really, and this is what the point I want to drive home for point number three, that stuff really doesn't add up to much for both of us, for most of us, okay? So let's say for example, somebody is consuming, 1,700 calories a day and they're losing 2 pounds a week, which is a good rate. 1 to 3 pounds a week is a good rate to lose weight for most of us, okay? So somebody's consuming 1,700 calories a day to lose weight, okay? And they're doing that, let's say, with one meal a day. Okay, so let's say they don't eat all day, and then they wait till they're coming home at night, and then they consume all their food at once, which all the bro blogs and all the, the Fox 2 news specials would have you believe, oh, you can't do that. You can't eat a big meal right before bed. Oh, you'll gain weight. But no. Let's remember, losing weight is a scientific, physiological math equation. So if it takes 1,700 calories a day for you to lose weight, eating that at 8 p.m. right before you go to bed go to bed, it's still 1,700 calories. That does not change. Okay, so if you're burning 2,000 to 2,200 a day, total between your basal metabolic rate, which is how much you burn just by being alive, and your activity, let's say you're burning 2,200 a day, and you're eating that 1,700, it doesn't matter that you're eating it all at eating all of it at 8 o'clock at night. Makes no difference, or a very, 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 very insignificant difference. Okay, so let's say you're doing that and you're losing 2 pounds a week. Okay. And then next week, you spread that 1,700 calories out among 4 perfectly spaced, timed meals over the course of a day. Guess what? You might lose 2 pounds at an ounce. I shouldn't attach a number to it, but my point is those details, and this is point number 3, those details are details. Build your house first, be active, consume the correct amount of calories, which, for most of you means probably working with a trainer or talking to a dietitian to get that figured out. But if you're consistently losing weight, that comes first. Building your house before you do the landscaping, I guess is the analogy I'm sticking with. That comes first, and all this other stuff that all these blogs and websites and clickbaity articles would have you believe, everything else is just details, okay? And don't even get me started on the whole organic versus processed thing, because guess what? If you're eating 1,700 calories worth of processed food, 1,700 calories worth of pure, organic, California, sun-baked, hippie, crap-grown organic food is not going to help you lose weight any faster. It's still math. It's still 1,700 calories is 1,700 calories is 1,700 calories. Now, there is a conversation to be had once you start talking about how much of that 1,700 calories is protein, carbohydrates, and fat. But that's not what we're discussing. We're not getting into the details. We're sticking with the 3 main points. So anyway, I hope I didn't get too angry. I hope I wasn't too ranty and ravey. This has been Sit Down Sunday. Next week, we will talk about something maybe not fitness related. But in the meantime, if you have questions, feel free to comment below. As always, the podcast is available on iTunes and Google Play Music. It is the Blown Smoke Podcast. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I am Big Fast Jake on Instagram, one word. And if you haven't hit that button already, hit that subscribe button. You know I appreciate it. I'm going to continue to try and grow this channel, and have a wonderful week, guys. I love you all. Bye-bye.